Listen carefully and try to find a mistake in one of my Silicon Valley videos.
At Los Angeles airport, and I was so happy, and people were like, Marina, this is great that you know how he looks like, because we know Airbnb, but we don't know how Brian Chesky looks like. Guys, you have to know how they look like, because you're gonna run into...
Oh my god, I made the same mistake 3 times in 10 seconds. And I actually told you about this. Never say how he looks like, say what he looks like. Because if you're saying how, it's only how does he look, that's the correct way. What he looks like is the correct way if you're adding like. Oh my god. You know how frustrating that is? I teach you guys, I teach myself, and then I forget. This is why you have to repeat and repeat and repeat things and listen to yourself, record yourself, listen to yourself. Because when I was saying that, I didn't really notice that mistake. I only noticed it when I started watching myself. So today we're gonna talk about other grammar mistakes that I make and that you make. So listen carefully and then record yourself and practice, and maybe you'll notice more mistakes.
I just switched you from a smaller camera to a bigger one so you can enjoy better sound and image quality while we talk about our top grammar mistakes. The next mistake that many of us make is using it's instead of its, and the second it's has an apostrophe. Whenever we have it's with an apostrophe, it's actually it is. For example, it's raining today. We can also say it is raining today. It's been like this for a week. When we split them up, we have it has been like this for a week. So we're actually contracting 2 words here. When we have it's as one word, that means a possessive. For example, I have a cat, its fur is really soft. We can replace it's here with a noun that we have. I have a cat, the cat's fur is really soft. So whenever you can replace it's with a noun, there is no apostrophe, it's a possessive. For the next mistake, let's take a look at my Insta story from today.
Honestly, I'm procrastinating to read because the book I've selected is not the most exciting one. Ray Dalio. Now we're gonna pause me here and we're gonna read what I wrote. I picked up a boring book, which is wrong, Marina. It's great, but the book is too big. This is my Instagram, by the way. And yes, sometimes I do those. And yes, sometimes I make those minor mistakes. So your homework today is to subscribe to my Instagram, linguamarina, and keep an eye on what I'm saying there. And if you notice something that seems wrong to you, DM me and let me know.
So, what we learn from this story. Whenever you have a physical act, it's pick up. Whenever you have non-physical act, like your brain activity, selecting, choosing something, it's pick. The next mistake, sometimes we mix up I and me. For example, let me read you a sentence. When you get done with that lab report, can you send it to Bill and I? Where's the mistake? Can you send it to Bill and me? Sometimes you just get confused by longer sentences, and this is what exam makers use a lot. They create this super long sentence and you just get confused by all the words and additional sentences that they insert. Let's try to get rid of all the details. Can you send me that lab report? So once we get rid of all the details, we actually pick the right word. So the right version of this sentence, when you get done with that lab report, can you send it to Bill and me? Because me is an object here and we cannot use I. Into versus into. So into is a preposition of moving somewhere. So I'm walking into the office. Then we use one word into. Sometimes we have a sentence, sometimes we get a phrase, call into a meeting. In this phrase, you're calling in to a meeting. So there is no actual movement. There is just an action. So here, there are 2 separate words, in and to. The next mistake, oh, I make it sometimes, but I've learned one simple rule that helps me. Using then instead of then. So what I remembered, what I memorized for myself, that then is the same as after. And then I stopped confusing them. But before that I was like, is it then with an E or is it then with an A? Let me read you a sentence. We left the party and then we went home. then can be easily replaced with after. We left the party, and after that, we went home. So whenever we can replace it with after, it's then with an E. We would rather go home than stay at the party. Here we have pure comparison. We're comparing staying at home with going to a party, and this is a pure example of then with an A. The next mistake, affect versus effect. Let me read you a wrong sentence. The movie affected me greatly. Affected with an E. This is wrong because affect is a noun and it cannot be used as a verb. To affect is a verb with an A, and effect is a noun with an E. So the movie affected me with an A, but the movie had a huge effect on me. Effect with an E. Using less instead of fewer. And I'm sure your teacher told you a lot about this mistake. Fewer is when we can count things. I have fewer t-shirts than you do. I made fewer videos this month because I can calculate the amount of videos I made in a month. But we use less with uncountable nouns. I need less flour for this recipe because I cannot count flour because it's too small. It would take ages. The next mistake, using adjectives instead of adverbs. Here is a simple rule. Whenever you're describing an action, whenever you're describing a verb, you use an adverb. An adverb is different from an adjective because it has ly at the end. Let me give you some examples. Let's walk quiet. This is wrong because why? We are describing a verb walk. So let's walk quietly. ly at the end. The last three mistakes, very common. Between and among. When you're choosing between something, that means you're choosing between 2 or 3 or maybe 4 things, but they can be easily calculated. I'm choosing between red and white wine this night. I don't drink, by the way, but whatever. But choosing among, so for example, you have a lot of t-shirts in your closet and you're choosing among those t-shirts, because if you had only 2 or 3, you would use between, but because you have so many, and I'm sure you have like 10, I have 20, you're choosing among those t-shirts. Compliment versus complement. When you compliment something with an I, you're actually telling them something nice. I got complimented on my dress. Somebody liked my dress. So that's compliment with an I. When you use compliment with an E, that means something is enhancing something. For example, your shoes complement your dress. It doesn't mean that shoes are telling something to your dress. It just means that together they look amazing. The shoes complement your dress. That's a good addition to the video. Oh my god. You know why? Because it's 3 years since we got engaged.
I hope this helps you to like start wearing Louis Vuitton clothes, you know?
I was just talking about t-shirts. Thank you so much.
Thank you for saying yes that day.
Thank you. Funny haircut, by the way. When you don't want to offend somebody, you say funny. Wow. Okay, the last mistake. Let's just leave it here. The last but not the least. Sometimes you're confusing lose with loose. When you lose something, L-O-S-E, that means you no longer possess it. So it's lost, it's gone. When something is loose, L-W-S-E, that means it's too big for you. I hope this t-shirt is not loose on me. It means I hope it fits me. That was it for me, guys. I hope you enjoyed watching this video and I hope you enjoyed my content. Please subscribe to my Instagram and let me know if I make any of those mistakes. See you soon in the next vlogs. Bye bye.